is Ashley Ballard, and it is a joy to join you on this video. Today, I want to give you 4 pillars to resolving conflict. That's right, 4 pillars to resolving conflict. When you think of pillars, they're a thing that supports an entire structure. So these 4 pillars will really support your relationships with family, friends, colleagues, and so forth. Now, this is an acronym, and it's called SKIP, except it's not S-K-I-P, it's S-C-I-P. I love this acronym because I personally love to twirl and skip around. So when I first learned about this acronym, I said, you know what, this is going to be my reminder that when confrontation arises, I do not have to be afraid. I can skip my way through that confrontational situation, and together, myself and that other person, we will be able to overcome. Now, of course, there's lots of circumstances to keep in mind when you want to resolve conflict with another person. Like, the time really does have to be right. Both parties have to come into agreement that they are going to work together to come in to find a resolve. You can't be one person wanting to resolve the situation and then the other person is not ready to maturely and calmly do so. So again, you want to make sure that the time is right and that both parties agree. So let's get into SKIP. You want to start with the person's strength. That is the S in SKIP. You want to assess and acknowledge that person's strength, and also they should do the same, because when we are aware and when we acknowledge someone else's strengths, it's really setting a positive tone, and we are really making sure that we're sharing with that person, I see you, I'm validating who you truly are, and I'm not belittling you, I'm not coming in criticism, but I am focusing on the positive aspects of your character in this situation. Even though in this moment we are in conflict, you're going to start off by acknowledging that person's strengths. It really does wonders when you remember who someone is and you remember positives, right? It's always so easy to focus on the negatives of anything, whether it's in a room, a spot on a wall, or a negative characteristic of a person, especially when you are bumping heads. But in this moment, you want to acknowledge their positive strengths. That's S. Moving on to C, you want to address the concern. You identify it and then you address it. What is the concern at hand between myself and this individual, okay? And then when you assess and you identify the concern, you are actually taking time to acknowledge everyone's feelings, okay? That means you matter, but that other person matters as well. And remember, feelings are tied to emotions, and a lot of times our feelings determine what we think and what we do. And so in this case, especially when we're thinking about communication, our feelings will determine what we say and how we say it, especially when we're all still exercising our ability to become great communicators. All right, so we have S for strength, C for concern. Next, you want to come into I, which is ideas, okay? We want to make these ideas count. We want to come up with them together. So if you and I were in the middle of a conflict and we want to use the SKIP pillars, then we have to sit together, again, when the time is right, and we both are agreeing to do so, and we will have to come up with some ideas to help us resolve this conflict. All right, so last but not least, we have P. P is very closely tied to I because P stands for plan, okay? When we plan, that is when we decide when we're going to put these ideas to work, what we're going to do, and who's gonna do it, right? That should definitely be you and I. If we're both the two people who are engaging in conflict, then we need to be able to engage and resolve together, right? So another thing is, it's how. How is it going to be done? So think who, what, when, where even, and how. That is how you come into a plan. Now, there are a few points that you want to remember when you are in the planning point of SKIP. You want to make sure that you are keeping things confidential, because you might be taking notes and really working together to resolve this issue. And so that means that you're going to listen to me and I'm going to listen to you, and I'm going to think about your concerns and your ideas, and you're going to think about my concerns and my ideas, because we're laying out a plan so that we can overcome this conflict together. And then you also want to set ground rules as you remember to keep things confidential. One of the ground rules that is actually really supportive in SKIP is active communication. Both people being committed to being active communicators, active listeners, and not passive, meaning they're not going to just let what one person says go through one ear and out the other. They're going to listen, and they're going to ask questions if clarity is needed, and they are going to respond in regards to what that person has been saying. All right, so when you really think about SKIP and in regards to identifying the strengths of the person that you're in conflict with, you do not have to stay in conflict and allow yourself to dwell on the negatives of that person or the negatives that occurred in that situation. But you identify the strengths. You think about ideas that are going to help you guys overcome that particular situation, and then you are putting and you're also addressing the concerns, and you're also putting together the plan. SCIP. S is pillar 1, C is pillar 2, I is pillar 3, and P is pillar 4. You are going to be able to skip through conflicts when you follow these pillars to help you overcome a challenging situation with another person. I hope this was helpful. As always, stay blessed and keep safe.